You might have seen in the news in the last couple of days that the Church of England have, in their schools, got a new policy about transgender kids in particular, but also a new policy about gay and bisexual children as well. So the Church of England run a bunch of schools in the UK. They have done for a very long time, and actually they're probably some of the more liberal faith schools you'll find. But they've issued some guidance, some new guidance about basically children wearing what they like to school or to fancy dress things and things like that. So I'm actually going to read from the Church of England's press release, which was out on Monday. And it says that guidance for the Church of England's 4,700 schools published today aims to prevent pupils from having their self-worth diminished or their ability to achieve impeded by being bullied because of their perceived or actual sexual orientation or gender identity. Press release goes on to say that they're making recommendations and things like that. There is a quote from the Archbishop of Canterbury which says, "All bullying, including homophobic, biphobic and transphobic bullying, causes profound damage, leading to high levels of mental health disorders, self-harm, depression and suicide." He also goes on to say that everybody is loved unconditionally by God and there shouldn't be any human reason why little boys and girls shouldn't be able to wear basically what they like. If you think about it, you know, that's really sensible. It's really progressive. However, this has not stopped the Daily Mail and The Sun and a few other news outlets on the right, on the more conservative side of the social spectrum, publishing stories really opposed to this guidance. Now obviously they're pandering to the people that read their newspapers. Doesn't mean they should, but that's what they're doing. And these papers, of course, have centred on boys wearing dresses. You know, there isn't really much argument about girls wearing trousers, which is strange in itself if you think about it. It's more of a crisis of masculinity than it is about transphobia. Although transphobia is, of course, deeply rooted in this. What was interesting about what the Archbishop of Canterbury said in this statement, though, is that it was their perceived or actual sexual orientation or gender identity. And that is so true. When you're any age, but especially when you are 6, 7, 8 years old, say, if you're wearing a dress, that doesn't mean that you identify as a woman. Indeed, this idea that dresses themselves are women's clothing is a particularly 20th century onwards idea. Boys and girls used to wear dresses until the age of maturity, when they would go through what was known as the breeching ceremony. And that age varied, but it was basically when they started puberty. So you could have boys as old as 11 still wearing dresses, you know. It's usually when they got a bit taller, that's when they had their first set of trousers or breeches bought for them or made for them. And this kind of practice stopped at around the end of the 19th century. So it's a really modern idea that especially young boys shouldn't be wearing dresses. They always used to wear dresses. They didn't wear anything else but dresses until really quite recently. If a young boy particularly wants to wear a dress, they're clearly making that choice because they want to do it that day. Maybe they're curious. Maybe they have a older sister or a younger sister for that matter, and they want to know what it's like to be wearing the clothes that their sister's wearing. It doesn't actually mean that they think that they are female. It might do. They might have gender dysphoria. That is perfectly possible. But it doesn't mean that. It means they're curious. And thank goodness for that. We need children to be curious. So this is what I mean by when the Archbishop of Canterbury said their perceived gender identity. Because somebody's gender identity is personal to them, and how they present themselves to the outside world has got absolutely nothing to do with their feelings. I mean, I can tell you actually that wearing a skirt is really quite comfortable, and I can tell you this because I did panto when I was younger, when I was 7, 8, 9 and a bit older than that, and often you wore a costume which was basically a tunic. It was effectively a dress, but it was a tunic. You know, you had a costume and it had no thing in the middle to go between your legs. You know, that was the costume. Very comfortable indeed, especially on a very hot stage. And any guy watching this knows that on a really hot summer's day, you might be even wearing shorts, some really loose-fitting shorts, and you can still have what we like to call Betty Swallocks. It's a spoonerism, just go with it. And I'm willing to bet if you had a skirt on and some nice cotton pants, then it would be much more comfortable. That actually reminds me of recent stories about secondary school children who their schools have got really quite strict dress codes, strict uniform codes, and the boys aren't allowed to wear shorts in the summer months. They still have to wear trousers, but of course the girls can wear skirts. Or more accurately, the uniform policy says that you have to wear either trousers or you can wear skirts. So at I think it was a school in Devon, as well as a couple of other schools, it's happened a few times around the country, the boys have decided on the really hot days to wear skirts into school. And they haven't done it because they think they're girls or because they have gender dysphoria, or in general I don't think that's the case anyway. They've done it because it's much more comfortable. So what is the point? It wasn't a problem for those boys. We're talking about teenage boys here at secondary schools. And these boys had the confidence to wear skirts to school because it was so hot. And okay, if shorts were allowed, then maybe they wouldn't have done it. But the point is that they were making a point, they were confident in doing so, and they didn't really actually look that odd. I mean, those are all the reasons why it shouldn't be a problem. But I heard on the radio a couple of weeks ago, so before this story came out, that there was a boy in a class, I think it might have even been at a Church of England school, who was allowed to wear a skirt to school. Allowed. And I think actually this is probably where this guidance has come from. And there was a parent who actually complained to the diocese of where the school is about this situation, because she thought that by sending her little Johnny, I don't know if it was Johnny, her little Johnny to the faith school, to a Church of England school, that they would be protected from this liberalism. I mean, apart from that being horrendously transphobic and horrendously unchristian, I couldn't believe what I was hearing on the radio from this woman. She just seemed like she thought that the world had gone too far and she wanted to insulate her family from the entirety of the world. I mean, this is not new, but it did remind me that there are these people out in the world who read the Daily Mail to reinforce their own prejudices. And it is a prejudice. It is a prejudgment about what you think of somebody. But it is probably one of the most unchristian things that certain Christians do. Using religion to cover up your bigotry is probably one of the most hateful things I can possibly think of, because you're just giving your bigotry an excuse. And if you've got an excuse and a lot of people accept your excuse, then that's a major problem. And the thing is as well, I think it's fair to say that if you are less progressive than the established church, then you are definitely living in the Dark Ages. So Monday was a massive victory for gender fluid and trans people, but also for anybody who wants to wear clothing which society believes is not of their gender. And like I said, it's a really modern thing, the idea that men have never worn skirts or dresses. They have for a very long time. And the idea that men can only wear trousers is even more recent. I hope you liked the video. Just before I go though, I actually got recognised on Saturday night from this YouTube channel, which I find absolutely amazing. It was somebody I didn't know, haven't ever talked to before, and I don't believe they know anybody that I know. I tell you what, it was really surreal that this person recognised me. I was just out in London and they recognised me from the channel. It's amazing. I mean, I only have 78 subscribers at the moment that I'm recording this video. I just wonder what's going to be like, say, when I'm up to, I don't know, 78,000 or however many I managed to get to in the end. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, why not give it a little thumbs up? You can do that just below. Why not subscribe to my channel if you aren't already? I make videos every single week. Or you can watch another video by clicking on the link just in the side panel there. Thanks again, and I shall see you next week. Bye-bye.